Hello, hello, everyone. Starting off the evening with a little Smashing Pumpkins, looks like. Of course, I'm not actually doing that because that would be, against copyright law, but, you know. Hey, Bart, what's up, dude? How's it going? Saw your post about the, inappropriate interview questions. That shit's wild, man. Like, you gotta know. Max, what's up, man? Alex is not impressed? He's not impressed with the Smashing Pumpkins? Come on. Come on. He'll be impressed. Will he be more impressed if he sees my face? Because I'm right here. What's up? OChem exam. Yuck. That sucks. Well, fortunately, you won't ever need to know that again. Tell Alex and Hannah hi, by the way. Eat a whole bunch of oysters. Dude, we went there. I'd never been there before. I saw Hannah whenever we went 2 weeks ago. And, man, those oysters were fucking good. I will be back. I ate an inappropriate amount there. It was good. So worked the entire weekend. Ugh. I did my weekend penance last Saturday. I'm good on that. Good on that for a while. Wait, when are you apply, by the way? When do you apply to school? Are you doing that this cycle? Can't imagine doing that with a full-time job. It sounds awful. You can barely hear, it's loud. I think my stream's kind of on the quiet side anyway. Sort of deliberately. Because nobody really wants to hear me being loud, I don't think. Working, yeah, I knew you were in the ICU. Two classes per semester. I mean, that's still a lot with a full-time job, dude. Nope, you're a big motherfucker to kill. Oh, do you work routinely Friday, Saturday, Sunday? That's kind of nice. I feel like the weekend shift is sort of untapped gold in healthcare. Symbol of hope. I will take that symbol of hope. Cultist chopper? Oh yeah, I forgot my weapon's awesome. Could have ruined them. The curves have allowed you to stay 4-0. Nice. That's the secret, dude. I did not play that game well at all. I took a bunch of really freaking hard classes thinking that there was some sort of allowance for, taking astrophysics, which is actually what I took. I was an astrophysics major, among other things. And, yeah. That's not the case. They just see the number and they're like, nah, sorry. Did I actually do what I'm supposed to do here? Clearing the ruins. Yeah, okay. I do not envy you the organic chem, though, at all. It sounds terrible. This massive attack? Nice. Good choice, me. So when do you take the MCAT? Are you gonna take that next year? So my med school application season was so ass backwards that I don't really even know how it works. I feel like most people take it right before they apply, right? Ideally, and then just bank on having a score good enough to work with. But yeah, I didn't even know what the MCAT was until like a month before I took it. Take it after biochem. Oh, well, that sounds smart. Yeah. Uh, do I want time rat chance? Yeah, let's start going time rat chance. Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. I applied late. My GPA sucked because I took really hard classes and didn't take college as seriously as I really needed to at the beginning. Um, I still did fine, but like, not med school fine. So that didn't really do me any favors. But yeah, do as I say, not as I do, kind of thing. Yeah, February seems smart though, because the application cycle starts in what, like May or something. Like you can actually apply. Oh shit! I need to write a rec letter for somebody, by the way. Not for med school, but for residency. We had a really strong student. That reminded me. She asked me for a rec letter like when she rotated like a month ago. So I need to do that. I mean, ERAS, I don't think residency applications don't even open for a couple months, but still. Find the void horrors, roaming the ruins of Welrin. Oh, there's one. Ouch. GPA sucks. 3.6 is fine. Mine was like 3.1. I mean, if you got a decent MCAT score, 3.6 is fine. Yeah, being an ICU nurse is pretty much the best clinical experience you can get, I would say. I mean, anything that's a job is so much better than what a lot of people bring to the table, frankly. You've got all, like... I mean, research is just a meme at this point, in my opinion. Like, I think it's a huge waste of time for the vast majority of people to have to, like, put their name on a poster. I think that's complete bullshit. But, and it just leads to a bunch of really low-quality research. Anyway, off that soapbox. Yeah, like, I feel like people do a bunch of volunteer work and stuff, and I can tell you that my volunteer work had absolutely nothing to do with medicine at all. There is nothing there informing my decision to be a doctor whatsoever. However, my job as a pharmacy tech had a lot to do with it. Reviewing your old subjects. Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Oh, ouch, ouch. Holy shit. You guys hurt. Yeah, I mean, if you can stay up with everything, then your dedicated review is going to be way better. Yeah, I guess I'll follow him this way. What is all this? Amulets? I don't really want to get... Spike Club. I gotta work on my item filter. Yikes. Yeah, I think it's... I don't know. You're gonna get me on this, the track that I don't like being on, which is shitting on med school application process. I think it's really awful. Always been a good test taker? Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Well, that's a thing that's gonna work in your favor for the next, 8 to 12 years. So unfortunately, that's, sort of what we base everyone's qualifications on is standardized testing, so... If you're good at that, you got a big leg up. I mean, dude, being a CRNA is a pretty sweet deal. Honestly, that's a great career path. And you know, you've cut out most of the bullshit of it by, you know, having critical care experience already. Like, I think that that requirement is, you know, very much a flex for people who don't really know what's going on. That's like a something they can point to show legislators like, hey, we have this much experience. Like, yeah, but critical care experience kind of stops being worth anything after like 3 or 4 months in the OR. That's stuff that you can learn really quickly. Like the things that it is good for is like patient interaction, um, you know, sort of like handling difficult situations and things like that. That's where the clinical experience is important, not the things that CRNAs say that they're important for. It's like the intangible stuff that's important for, like learning drips and medication, you know, uses and rates and stuff like that. Like you can pick that up in, you know, a couple weeks of on the job training. There's nothing to that. But it's, you know, the culture of the operating room, the culture of a hospital, you know, dealing with people. That's where the experience matters, because we see the anesthesiologist assistant students come in just like terrified and green, and they're useless and scared, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. And then, like, by the end of their first rotation, which is I think 2 months, they're like, you know, I mean, they obviously have a long way to go, but they're like, they kind of know their way around, know what they're doing, and it's, you know, I certainly wouldn't want them like managing a complex case, but they at least have been like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. I know this. Flush the line when ready and up the rate. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like the basic understanding of anesthesia is like, I mean, there's really nothing to it most of the time. I don't know, that sounds like a really flippant thing to say, but people are fucking hard to kill, man. And most surgeries actually are done on healthy people. So, you know, if you screw up and like double dose somebody's propofol, like, well, shit, you know, you have to write out some low blood pressure for 15 minutes and then you're fine. You know, like, it's not gonna do anything. Where am I supposed to go? Oh, down there. That's right. They just try to die on their own. Yeah, yeah. They won't. They're like Samuel L. Jackson in that one movie where he's like a teacher and he's got the kid that's like trying to kill him. I've forgotten what that movie's called. And they're like playing Russian roulette, and he's like, "You can't kill me!" And he shoots himself in the head, like takes the other guy's turn and shoots himself. That's ICU patients. People who make big mistakes are not paying any attention. They hooked up Leo to the art line. Oh, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. So, like, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of things. You know, obviously hooking drugs up to an arterial line is just sort of universally not a good idea. But I feel like the only ones that would legitimately cause problems would be, like, reconstituted meds that didn't get reconstituted right. So you have, like, powder in there, like particulate, or pressors. Pressors would also do it. So for anybody who doesn't understand why that's stupid, so if you hook, it's like if you've got an IV, all the medicine flows back to your heart first, right? But if you're putting something through an arterial line, then it's got to go to the fringes of your body first before it goes back to your heart. So everything kind of goes through your most sensitive blood vessels first before it gets distributed to the rest of your body. So when I say a pressor, that's something that increases your blood pressure, and usually by constricting your blood vessels. So basically, wherever that person's arterial line was, usually it's in your wrist. So that that person's hand will like the blood. It'll basically get jack shit blood flow while that presser infusion is there. So that's real bad. That's real bad. So they probably killed that person's hand, or at least did some damage. But yeah, I think things like that are very easy to learn. And like I was saying, it's more the like dealing with people in a healthcare setting that CRNAs have a really big initial advantage over. But yeah, anesthesia assistant students catch up just fine. But yeah, I mean, good for you for going medicine. I think it'll be really interesting for you to see what the education difference is, because that's a path so infrequently taken that I think it'll be. Hopefully, you'll stick around the stream for long enough to, you know, be able to kind of communicate what you think the differences are. CRNAs have huge ego. You mostly work with girls. Yeah, well, we'll leave that spicy part out of it, but. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it is like, you know, Napoleon syndrome, to be honest with you. Like, you know, they know that they're sort of forever the second rung, and a lot of people don't like that. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, dude. Like, being a CRNA is a freaking awesome career. Oh, loot lizard! Yeah, bitch, come here. Hey, you little fucker. Yeah, look at that. See if I can actually use any of it. Flanged mace. That does a lot more damage than what I have, but... Ooh, bonus to multi-strike. I mean, for this point in the game, this is like the beginning of the game. So yeah, from one dude, that's basically this game's equivalent of a loot goblin. You know, if like you ever played Diablo, or... I guess there's a lot of games that have something that's like functionally equivalent to that. Just like some harmless monster that runs away from you and you beat the crap out of it and it gives you a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I've actually been in this playthrough, like I'm what, like level 20 or something? Yeah, 21. I've been astonishingly lucky. So I got this weapon, which from like there's a couple special like location encounters that you can get, and this is absurdly good. The fact that it like randomly casts another of my skills whenever I hit something in melee. So smite is that skill. So that's not just like a random item for me to have. It actually like boosts my character hardcore. And then I found this amulet like right at the beginning of the game, and 5.7% damage leached is a lot. So like, I found two really, really good uniques for my build, like, immediately. So that's why I'm just, like, all those, like, bolts from the sky, that's smite. So I'm just kind of, like, running through packs and hacking shit and doing a bunch of damage randomly. And I love it. This is a new expansion. It's like a massive game update. They haven't had a patch for last Epoch in, like... I think over a year. Last one was a year ago. And there is like a ton of content. There's bigger end game. There's new crafting strategies. There's a bunch of new items. There's a like a way to customize the end game to your liking. Like they call it the Weaver tree. And you basically can, as you progress through the end game, you get more points to kind of like select which rewards you prefer. So, they've changed a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like basically a brand new game with the same skin as it used to have in a lot of ways. But if you like action RPGs, like the Diablo style games, this is a really, really good one to choose. It's very friendly to play. The crafting system makes a lot of sense. It's easy to figure out. And I mean, it's well done. It's made by a bunch of like fucking nerds, basically. Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, It's worth a purchase. Like this game actually, the main developers got together on Reddit. They were Diablo 2 fans and got together and like made their own game. And originally this game was absolute trash. It was really terrible when it first came out for early access, which was like 7 years ago to be fair, but they have really expanded and gone ham with it. And it's very very easy to play like solo self-found, you know, just like by yourself without having to trade with people and stuff. Because there's a, you can basically either choose trade or to get tons of loot, like a huge bonus to loot, loot drops. Oh, what the crap? This isn't what I wanted. I'll kill this guy and go back to town. I forgot that that door's a trick. Played League of Legends. Oh yeah, I could never get into League. I think like the fact that you sort of have to dial in for like half an hour at a time was a real problem for me. There's also the fact that I'm a extremely unskilled game player, so that didn't help much. I have them right here. Have to start from a younger age. Yeah, it's wild how fast your like reaction time deteriorates as you age. Like some of those, you know, like professional StarCraft players have like hundreds of actions per minute. Like how 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 do you do that? I mean, like I do pretty well to click a mouse more than 5 times a second. Oh, what is that? Yep. More actions in this game? Yeah, maybe. But a lot of them are automated though, and they're not like specific. Because like right now I'm just holding right click. I'm doing a bunch of shit, but all I'm doing is holding right click. So what's down here? Half as less action per minute. Yeah, I mean the people who are really good at these games are super fast and can just like manually dodge and, you know, play characters that are glass cannons because they just never get hit. I am not that guy. I just eat damage constantly, so I have to play a character that's, you know, pretty buff. Ancient Forest. Let's get in there. I feel like I need to turn the sound effect up on this. There we go. League's a decision-making game, yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the psyop aspect of the psychological aspect of League, where like maybe there's one of this guy's teammates lurking, you know, in the weeds somewhere. Maybe they're gonna come fuck me when I try to attack him. I want to go kill that dude up here. So that symbol that's on the map is what gave me my weapon. They're called Nemesis. What is this? Is it good for me? No. Oh. Hey, you. Ah, come here. Yay. Make it to Challenger, top 0.01% for real? Jesus, man. That is nuts. But yeah, all the, like, it's crazy how good professional game players are. Ah, man, do I have to backtrack to go get that guy? Shit. Oh, only 0.03% in North America? Well, that's nothing. That's no big deal. That's nuts, dude. My video game claim to fame is I tied games in a Smash Brothers tournament with a dude who was a professional Halo player. I played a lot of Super Smash Brothers. A whole lot. Yeah, split games with that dude. I mean, he, you know, that's like probably, other than GoldenEye, that's probably the best I've ever been at any video game. And I still, you know, he was still just like, oh yeah, I played this game before, and comes in and just like, is like easily the best player there. Yeah, the people who are like truly at the top of their game are just fucking wild. Let's see. Oh, oh wow. Oh, stun chance. Oh, okay. I was thinking that this said 365% increased void damage. I was like, Jesus. Found my weapon. 'Cause that would have been great for me. Let's see if I can just face tank this guy. The answer is probably not. I'll at least have to dodge that blood storm thing. I do actually, like, I know, you know, having played League, I don't know the ins and outs of the characters or anything, but occasionally I'll watch their tournaments just because I think it's really interesting how people play. Like, if I happen to come across it when I'm on call or something looking for time to kill, I'll watch that and just, like, check it out. Ooh, okay. Let's see. What's that? Not something I want. Also, don't really have any use for that, or that. Alright. Well. That was great. Glad I went back for that. Cool. Been watching more Counter-Strike? Yeah, oh, I should probably try that. I watched, like, when I was first sort of learning, like, what, like, Twitch is and what streamers do and stuff, I was watching Shroud. I had no idea who he was. And, he was just playing some random, like, zombie, like, open-world zombie game, and just, like, instantly killing people. And I didn't realize that it was, like, he was playing against other humans. Because he just, like, one-shot everyone, just, like, headshot everything. So I thought they were just, you know, regular monsters or something, just, like, mobs running around. Nope, he's just actually that good at the game. Like, before they even saw him, they were just dead. Yeah, he was a professional in multiple games, I think. That guy's got it figured out, man. He got into the streaming scene way early and has done extremely well for himself. Because that's kind of like, dude, if you capture the normie crowd, that's how you make the money. I mean, look at Kai Cenat, dude. Like, I mean, the guy is genuinely talented, but he also just kind of, like, fucks around. I mean, there are a lot of people who fit that description, too. Whoop. 15 to 20 viewers, that's about 10 more than I ever get, so... Couldn't do it long term. Oh yeah, I mean, this would not be something that I would do professionally at all. It sounds terrible. People on the internet are just the fucking worst too, man. Like, even streamers that people like, they treat them like shit. You know, like order SWAT teams on them and stuff. Like, just because it's funny. They think it's funny. And yeah, you've always got to be entertaining and, like, upbeat and stuff. I mean, that's a big reason that I didn't stream. This is just a hobby for me, obviously. So, like, you know, for the bulk of the last 2 years since my daughter was born, I'm just, like, tired or have something else to do, you know? Like, days where I'm just like, yeah, you know, I don't really feel like doing that. And I can do that, because it's not my job. But I mean, if it is your job, then you gotta, like, you know, splash some water on your face, take a cold shower or something, and then, like, show up and, you know, be live for, you know, 4+ hours at least, and make content on the side and all this shit that, you know, you have to do to make money. You know, obviously there's some people who have, like, absolutely crushed it in that industry, but most are, I think, so a guy I follow named Devin Nash did a big, like, a breakdown of how likely it is you are to be successful as a Twitch broadcaster, specifically. I don't think that accounted for YouTube, but it's, I think it was like 1 in 15,000 people make minimum wage. some insanely low number. Had to change yourself to be stream friendly? Yeah. I mean, and there's kind of like a meta to that too, right? You know, there's, you know, I feel like there's kind of the, like, shoutcaster meta that was, like, super popular when Ninja was rolling through. You know, just like, oh, you know, just everything is overwhelmingly exciting and interesting that you gotta be like, and it's, you know, jump scares you and shit. Like, okay. You just have to be a caricature constantly. And you've got all these people, like, trying to get you dance like a monkey, like, hey, I'll give you a sub if you do this. And I'm happy to be in a position where I can tell them to eat a fat penis. League streamers just insult people. Yeah, I mean, that's like the most, from what I understand, like, other than Dungeons and Dragons, that's like the most toxic community out there. Like, it sounds like D&D nerds are like the fucking worst, man. Skritter, Mirage Champion, huh? Oh, so those are so that's a new mechanic, this, wait, so is that a different color? Oh. Okay. Melee damage leeches health. Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's wear that. So I guess that's technically a different color. I'll definitely have to recolor that on the on my loot filter. Oh yeah, so one of the best things about this game is it has like a fully customizable loot filter. So you can customize by affix, class requirement, all of those things, rarity. And you can even do, like, So you can choose all the different affixes. And you can even choose, like, tiers of affix. So, say we'll do, like, spell, confirm. These are the tiers. So, like, if you want a high, high roll on health or fire damage or something, like, you can choose that. But not the low rolls. Tongue of the Aberrant. Poison spells, 3 attributes. That does me no good, but I'll pick it up. So yeah, you can hide all this random shit, and you can also make it drop different colors. Like if I wanted rare items to drop, purple or something instead of this, then I could do that instead of yellow. So what I should probably do for these, since it's like not obviously different than just regular rares, I should just turn it, I don't know, pink or some shit that's easy to see. Hey, good gosh darn, what's up, dude? How are you? When you got flamed in League, you didn't do that. Oh man, I missed the messages. Not a multiplayer game? It is a multiplayer game, but not for me. I'm forever alone. But it's definitely designed to be very single player friendly, like I was saying, because you can choose. It's called the Merchant's Guild, which is like trading. It's like a auction house kind of thing. Or Circle of Fortune, which is basically massively boosted drops for you, but you can't trade. And target farming in this game is actually really good too. So you find out, hey, this boss drops this item 5% of the time or whatever, and you just go farm that boss. Easy enough. Yeah, I do not envy people who are content creators for a living. It's sort of like being an actor, but you're like constantly being like reevaluated. Like at least an actor like puts out a movie or something, and then like people shit all over him, and then they forget and move on to the next thing. But like if you're streaming, you're live every day, or most days, I guess. Ooh, what is this? Ow! Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, one of these days I would like to ramp up my own content creation back to at least where it was before, where I'm like, live twice a week and actually kind of talking about things, healthcare issues in a dedicated fashion, making a YouTube video every now and then. That was fun. Like, I had a good time doing it, but I just haven't had time. And as I mentioned, there are many, many, many other things that I prioritize before that, so given the choice, I will most often do those things. It'll be way better when my daughter goes to, I'll have, like, I won't have to triage my hobbies quite as much when my daughter goes to school in August. That'll be nice. Big streamers are at the mercy of their viewers. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, the really big ones have made enough money that, they can just kind of, like, disappear and it won't matter. But, there's lots of people in this space who get, like, a couple thousand viewers. And, they maybe make a couple $100,000 a year or something. But, like, they can't retire. You can't retire off a couple $100,000. There's no way. And they're all 1099s, or the ones in the US, at least. So they're paying 50% of their income in tax. They don't have retirement, they don't have any benefits, so they gotta pay that out of pocket. Like, that sucks. Granted, if they're smart and they have a, corporation set up and stuff, they can at least deduct those as expenses from their corporation and, pay themselves a salary. But the point is, they have a huge tax burden that people who just, like, have a regular job don't have to worry about. Yeah, and like viewer entertainment is not like I want people to show up and have fun, but you know, if you don't like the stream, like go find somebody else to hang out with. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't make any money off of this. There's like, you know, 5 people that subscribe to me, and that pays my like technology fees basically for the year, and that's like all I could really ask for. Some cool people hanging out with common interests, and we'll build from there. Like, I feel like before I really kind of disappeared, there were, you know, 10 to 15 people in the stream routinely, and there were like a couple kind of like known but less populated like action RPG community members who'd occasionally pop in or like raid the channel or something like that. So that's kind of fun, you know. Sort of cracked the seal on being a community member, but not quite. Not quite there. And it all slipped away. I could have been the contender. If they suddenly lose viewers, they feel, yeah, inadequacy and feel like they did something wrong. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of like, I mean, it seems like lots of streamers have, at least at some point, some pretty profound mental health blocks to come to terms with. And I mean, I get it, you know, you got a lot of naysayers, a lot of haters telling you that you suck or like constantly challenging you. You know, it's pretty easy to get gaslit or to let it get in your head. Turn to page 76. Like here, this guy, Ziggy D, he is my favorite small streamer. And he's got a bunch of viewers right now, but I just try to keep his stream up, like, whenever, basically, so he has more viewers. Oh my god, 5 unspent points? Dear Christ. Okay, what am I gonna do here? But yeah, I know that he's, you know, this is how he makes a living, and he's not, you know, 1,000 viewers isn't gonna, you know, buy you a private, like, Bahamian island or anything. We're just gonna go balls to the wall here. Oh shit, I forgot Paladin. Wait, I thought okay. Well, I meant to get that block bonus, but I didn't. Because I am bad at video games, as we've established. Yep. It'd fuck with your mental if you're streaming. It's pretty easy to not give a fuck since I'm doctor. Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like, yeah, I mean, come at me. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. Where? Okay. Wow. That's a long way away. I forget how big these... so one complaint I do have about this game is the areas are freaking huge. In case you haven't noticed. Like, for an action RPG, the maps are gigantic. But yeah, especially... So, the stream was actually born of, like, peri-pandemic misinformation. That was, like, sort of what spurred me to get involved and just like have a voice. You know, I was like, hey, maybe I can be that person that gives people decent healthcare information. And you know, if I don't know what I'm talking about, then we're gonna look it up. And so around that time, I had a lot of people coming into the stream like, you know, vaccines are gonna kill us. This is all stupid. It's a hoax. Blah blah blah. And you know, there was people would private message me, and you know, there's lots of hate and like spammers in the channel and all sorts of shit. So that was I don't know, not really a big deal, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna ban you. Like, I don't need your viewership. Like, if you have a legitimate question or you're interested in knowing an answer, great. That's cool. We can talk about it. Like, it's not your fault that you don't understand basic science, but if you're willing to talk to me and, you know, figure it out, then great. But if you're gonna come here and tell me, you know, just a bunch of falsehoods and spout talking points without really knowing anything about them, then bye. Like, I don't have to put up with that. See you later. Oh, did you refund Path of Exile too? That's pretty intense. refund an early access game, man. That's a bad look for the developer, especially since they're, you know, like, Path of Exile is like arguably the best action RPG ever in terms of, you know, many things. Yeah, I mean, PoE 2 does not sound like my jam, man. I haven't even played it. I don't own it. It just sounds so slow and tedious. It sounds even slower and more tedious after the most recent updates, and I just can't be fucked to do that, man. Endurance threshold, if you haven't been hit recently, don't care. Just bouncing game to game. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that, man. I kind of wish I did that more often, actually. I've still never finished Baldur's Gate 3. I put like 40 hours into it and loved every minute of it. But never even got out of the first act, and there's like 4 acts, right? I heard it just got a new update, so I may have to check that out at some point. But it's so hard for me to play games like that because I get really into it, and these days, that is. So I get like super into it, and I'm like, you know, digging the story, and the gameplay's awesome, and you know, I could spend like 10 hours a week on it, basically. Which, you know, isn't nothing, but like, I want to sit there and binge it for like 5 hours a day or some shit, and that just, this is not, you know, with 2 kids, you just can't do that and be a useful parent. That's part of the reason I don't read very much anymore, too, actually. Though I should probably start doing that. I've kind of gotten my, my storytelling, oddly enough, from, I watch, this guy named, Brett Ultimus. I think there's maybe better people to, patronize, I guess. But he's a, like, professional dungeon master for D&D, and I don't have any idea how to play D&D, and I've never played before, but, like, he gets a bunch of, you know, kind of like mid-grade YouTube celebrities in his game, and, you know, people with like a couple 100,000 subscribers and stuff who like D&D, and they're all like very interesting people, you know, good entertainers, and they tell a cool story. So that's kind of where I, like, they have a lot of fun and just kind of fuck around. So I'll have that in the background, you know, on like slow days while I'm working on whatever, scheduling or taxes has been recently, but I've put probably too much time into, especially since I have an accountant. But yeah, I have on my short list of things to do, read the Wheel of Time series. So I've read the Wheel of Time, and that was like 25 years ago, so I'm probably going to reread that, and then get through the series. And the guy who took over the series, Brandon Sanderson, a lot of my friends just like rave about his books, so I've got to see what that's all about. But I know that that's, you know, probably tens of thousands of pages of reading, literally. So, that's gonna take a little bit of doing. Lots of stuff on the to-do list. And Dune. Dune is great. They kind of lost me in the third book of the series, though. I didn't finish the third book. It got a little, like, self-righteous and pseudo-philosophical for my taste. So maybe I'll give it another chance after I finish all the Wheel of Time and, like, Stormlight Archives stuff, but... Yeah, I thought the first two were really good, though. Dune, obviously, is classic. I still haven't watched the second movie, actually, now that I think about it. The first one was awesome. Hurricane Pickaxe. Nope, there's another Nemesis. Let's see what items he has to offer me this time. I also have a basement full of Warhammer models that I need to frickin' sort through. I put like an hour into that every now and then and like sell some stuff off, but it's just really hard to motivate myself to get that going. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you got quite the grind going, dude, between full-time job and prepping for med school labs. I mean, that's a lot of work. Ooh. Empower. Ooh, I do some good damage, don't I? I'm just sitting here face taking this, bro. Nice. Love it. Going hard on MCAT studying. Yeah, I mean, that will be very easy for you, I think, relatively speaking, since you're kind of doing it all along. That's a smart way to do it. You'll have a solid foundation. So I think you'll find that quite a bit less stressful. Ooh. Calamity. I mean, it really, like, this is such a freaking boomer thing to say, but it really does help you that you're older and have a little bit of experience. You kind of, you know, you've been through nursing school and you kind of know how advanced education goes. Whereas most of the people taking that class alongside you probably, you know, can't relate. +1 to Vengeance. Well, the armor itself is probably worth it. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna shatter that. Or do I? Wait, why is it not showing me? Let's see. Control-Alt is mod ranges. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. Pebbles bike marked sash. Oh, I have 2 Pebbles items. I still am not going to wear them. Well, actually... I mean, my relic's kind of garbage. Why would I not wear this? Yeah. All those kids aren't locked in at all. Yeah, I mean, I was that kid. I understand. I've been there. Yeah, I didn't take that shit seriously at all, man. I you know, thought I was gonna coast through like I did in high school, and like I made it through, but definitely could have done a lot better with you know, not a whole lot of extra effort. I mean, hubris is really what it is for a lot of them. It certainly was for me. I just thought I was good enough to, like, wing it, and I wasn't. But I was good enough to do okay, but not good enough to do well. Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge with med school, man. It's like, you have to do that, like, finding yourself thing, you know, but still, like, not fuck it up bad enough that you can't recover. And I mean, I struggled real hard to get into med school. I only got one acceptance. Didn't even get that, really. I got a, Endonized poignard. I just want to look at these frickin' weapons, guys. Can you please stop attacking me? Okay. God damn it. Go away. What? Are these the same? No. Okay, well, I don't really have any use for that. Really good in high school, top of the class, got into universities. Your Indian mom made you study? Yeah. Yeah, see, I never, like... I didn't have a problem, like, doing it. I just didn't think that I needed to, if that makes sense. And I didn't really, like... I mean, I partied a fair bit, don't get me wrong, but I mostly just, like, fucked around. Kind of used my time unwisely. I mean, it really would have only taken, like, at most 2 hours of study to really improve what I was doing meaningfully. You know, to do super well, it would have taken a lot more than that, but, like, you know, instead of getting, like, a B, I probably would have gotten a B+, A-, maybe, with a couple hours, like, before the test. And I just didn't do it, you know? Like, I'd gotta breeze through a couple, like, basic topics and be like, nah, I'm good. Okay. Okay, young Alex. Whatever you say. Oh, your best friend was in a frat? See, I kind of did that. I had a lot of friends that I lived in the dorms with, and they were, you know, pledges, so they all got tasked with managing the alcohol, so they weren't, like, out, you know, having fun, dancing with people. So I was like, that's awesome. So I know all of the people who are dispensing the booze. That seems like a good thing for me. And, yeah, it was. Doing computer science and hated CS. Isn't that the way, though? It's always different when it's, like, your job, right? Things change a lot. Like, to hear, I don't know if you know who Mathel is. He's one of the prominent Path of Exile streamers. And he just, like, plays Path of Exile the entire league, the entire, like, 3 or 4 month span. Which, I mean, the most recent league has been ongoing for almost a year now. But anyway, historically it's been 3 to 4 months. So he just plays. And, you know, somebody asked him, or I guess many people asked him if he ever burns out or how he deals with that sort of issue. And he's like, well, it's my job. So I just play games and come up with new characters and stuff. And sometimes it sucks and I want to stop playing, but it's how I make a living, so here I am. Yeah, your buddies, yes, absolutely. Your buddies let you in, even if you're not there with chicks. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I always thought that was kind of an interesting advantage. Like, I was not in a frat, but I kind of went around and just talked with everybody. And I'm not, like, exactly a social butterfly, really, but I just kind of made it a point to get to know people. Because I went to North Carolina for college, and so I didn't know anybody there. And, So I was like, well, I guess I need to make friends. And so I did, and like all these dudes who were in the frats were like, you know, hey man, we're having a party, come on over. Okay. So I do enjoy the police. However, this is probably not the most atmospheric music I could choose. So maybe we'll remedy that in just a minute. Hey, you need to die so I can move on and, like, actually play this game. Oh my god. Stop running away. There we go. Alright. What should we choose? I was kind of digging that Massive Attack earlier. That's not one of my favorite Massive Attack songs, but nope. Caps lock, cruise control for awesome. Let's see, what do we got on here? Thievery Corporation. Maybe not dark enough. Sort of expected a little more brooding out of Massive Attack. Kristen Bell? What? Let's get some Frozen up in here. Uh, awesome. Radiohead, maybe? Ooh, I have an interesting thought. Shit, Sasha, what was it? I haven't listened to this album frickin' forever. Here's this. This is not what I thought it was. Ah, Christ. What was that album called? Let's see. Here we go. The Cat Collection? What is that? I've never even heard of that. It's not Involver. Oh, it's the second one. Okay. There's this really cool transition between a Radiohead song and actually I think it's an M83 track. Maybe it's the third one? Yes, please search that, computer. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm pretty sure it's this one, though. Oh, this is it, but it's in, like, a different order. That's weird. Ah, well, fuck it. Whatever. Moving on. Abort, abort. Oh, you know what I think I can do? Here we go. It's on my mind now. It's gonna bother me if I don't do it. This is gonna be loud as fuck. Let's see. Gotta make sure I do this right. Wow, that's a pretty sweet costume. Nice. Does this have a timestamp? No. Woo, that's loud. What do I do during OR downtime? You're pretty much looking at it. Here we go. That was actually a pretty good guess for where it starts. There we go. We'll roll with that. So downtime. I'm trying to think of a non-incredibly complex way to answer that question. So, the way we staff, it's usually 2 people running the operating room primarily, and those 2 people are busy as fuck. So, like when you're in the OR, you're seeing like 20 people. Like we generally do 40 plus cases a day, and that's split between those 2 people. So you're seeing a bunch of patients, and, you know, ideally you're in the OR to see those patients go to sleep and wake up, and, you know, occasionally maybe drop in on them in the recovery room. So you're running pretty good. So there's like, you know, occasional 5 to 10 minute blocks during the day where you're not necessarily busy, but there's not enough time to like do anything constructive most of the time. Like maybe you can, you know, pay a bill or buy something on Amazon that you forgot or something like that. But if you're not working, you're going home most of the time. There are times when like the third person sort of gets stuck there. Like, because if you're, so billing wise, you can cover 4 rooms, and like without doing, like, missing out on charges and stuff. Like as an anesthesiologist, you can supervise 4 rooms, and so sometimes we'll be in 8 rooms and there's like something else looming, and we can't let that third person go, because if something pops up, then we have to call that person back, and that really sucks. Like it's fucking terrible in my opinion to like go home and think you're home free and then get called back. I hate that. I hate that feeling. So, you know, and it sucks for the operating room too, because we're like, oh yeah, we actually have to call that person back in so we can run that case. So just sort of bad practice. So you do get stuck every now and then, but most of the time you're hustling while you're there, and then as soon as your work is done, you go home. That said, on weekends and nights, we are generally pretty free. So, you know, there's probably an operating room going, but it's just one, and it's probably a longer case. So you've got some time to kind of mess around, and that's when I'll play games intermittently, I'll read, you know, stuff online. I'm a computer construction junkie as well. I like making my own computers. even though I haven't actually done that for like 2 years, or no, it's been about a year, only a year. I did it last summer. I made the rig that I occasionally, or used to stream, board games from. Like, I have a big game table in my basement, and I was streaming games for a while, and then one of my friends kind of joined the action and didn't want to be broadcast, so I respected his wishes and did not. But he is, at least for a little bit, out of town, so I think the next few sessions I'll be able to go live. But anyway, yeah, so I'll read about that, and, you know, character planning stuff, reading, like, scrolling Reddit, not productive things, sometimes eating. So yeah, there's a fair bit of downtime after hours, and that's when I do this. Yeah, it's good. It's a good gig. Can't complain. And generally, we'll, you know, we don't get called more than once-ish a night. I haven't done a case in the operating room. I'm jinxing myself really bad right now, but I haven't done a case in the OR after, you know, like, when I would choose to go to sleep, like 10 p.m. or something, for a long time. Usually if we get called, it's obstetrics. And we have a call room that's on the OB floor, so I'll just walk down the hall and do the epidural. And then call it good. There's a lot of chilling in the OR. Well, so if you sit your own cases, that's different. So in individual rooms, absolutely. So the anesthetist, like, say you're doing, I don't know, a prostate, like a robot prostate or something at our shop, that takes the surgeons like 5 hours, and the patient's generally pretty stable. So, you know, like a total hip or total knee, our surgeons aren't real fast, so that's like 2 to 2.5 hours that you're just kind of chilling. Patient's stable, generally don't have to do anything. And, yeah, like the anesthetist in that room is doing nothing. But when you're supervising rooms, it's real busy, because I'm the pre-op guy. I'm in the room, you know, when the patient goes to sleep, and just like walking between rooms constantly, just monitoring 4 people, plus having to see all the others to get them prepped. So yeah, if you do your own cases, it can be pretty relaxed if you've got a slow room. A lot of times, though, that's not the case, because, you know, the surgeons are fast, and you're turning over constantly, prepping for subsequent cases, and, you know, there's not a whole lot of downtime. It's not necessarily, like, balls to the wall, but it's also, you know, you gotta kind of be on your game to keep up. Wow, that's a big motherfucker right there. Holy shit, this room is rough. Oh my god. Whirlpool champion. Oh, he's champion, okay. Oh, this guy's mean business, don't they? Hey, Matt, what's up, man? Long time no see, brother. How you doing? So yeah, very, very little chilling, which is exactly how I like it. Like, my hours are quite good right now. I mean, even with call, I'm like upper 30s. And like last night I was just tired, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to sleep. And it was like 9:30. And went to sleep and slept through the night. No big deal. Ooh, cooldown and void damage? Interesting. Still a corpse, but to be expected. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Are you excited about your new job? Signed up for indentured servitude. Yay! So yeah, when you get to the anesthesia side of things, if that is in fact what you decide you want to do, you have to choose your job pretty carefully, because there are definitely some shit shows out there where either you're expected to do what's called medical direction, which is like basically CRNAs just use your license to do cases. And so you don't even get to see the patient, and they just like do fucking whatever, because there's like 8 rooms running under your name at the same time. And that is terrifying, because generally the CRNAs who do that are not strong. It is my experience. Actually looking for a second job already. Looking for something to pad your paycheck. Wow, that's ballsy, dude. I mean, good for you, I guess, but... all that time just to do anesthesia anyways. Well, yeah, but you know, the paycheck's a little bit better. And you're in charge. It's a, similar, but still quite different job. Ow. But hey, who knows? CRNAs where you work were pretty decent. Yeah, no, I don't mean to disparage CRNAs. I actually have had extremely good experience with CRNAs overall. I mean specifically in setups where they are sort of left to their own devices and nobody really watches over what they're doing. They're just kind of like doing whatever. That's when things kind of go sideways. And the people who sign up for a lack of supervision are generally the ones who need to be supervised most. Like, they don't like it otherwise because people are up their ass all the time. And that's because they aren't good. But they think they're good. And so they're like, well, I don't need somebody telling me what to do. Your buddy's trying to be CRNAs on the propaganda. Oh man, that just sucks. Sort of a microcosm of our country in general, right? Like, everybody thinks they know better than the experts, regardless of, what their background is. CRNAs have as much anesthesia hours as anesthesiologists. I mean, okay, like, let's assume that's true. Their hours are spent doing gallbladders and, like, GI cases. I was the first resident ever in KU's program to be in their GI lab. And that was because they, like, were just super desperate one day for some reason. And they put me in the busiest room. I did, like, 20 GI cases in one day, which was actually a really useful experience because, like, most of what we did was just, like, really high-level, intense cases. And you don't get that, like, turnover, like, production pressure push in those situations. But that's really what most of anesthesia is like, go, 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 get shit done, take care of these people under fire. The academic, like, slow, bloodletting, 10-hour case is not the norm at all. Jesus, this is a lot of enemies. But yeah, the experience is not equivalent, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I spent my time, like, desperately trying to keep people alive. They spent their time churning out, basic cases. So... in terms of anesthesia, he thinks CRNA is equal. Yeah, I mean, he can think that. He can think that all he wants. Really, the only way that this is going to go away is if like the, you know, politically active CRNAs get what they want, and they can practice independently, and there's actually like good unbiased data on the situation, like on care quality. That's the only way that'll go away. And that'll suck for anesthesiologists for a while because it'll crimp the job market. But that's the only way that will ever happen. Wait, where the hell am I supposed to be going? Makes sense the doctor would get the big cases. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you train for. Like, you train on the sickest people having the biggest surgeries, so when shit hits the fan and, like, all of the other routine cases, you know what to do. And I mean, CRNAs are very, like, you know, I say all this, but, like, they're very highly trained and educated people, too. You know, they're very good at their jobs. And most of the time, like, you don't need physician-level care. And that's true of anything in medicine. You know, like we were talking about earlier, it's freaking hard to kill somebody with anesthesia, but there's that, you know, 0.5 to 1% of cases where, like, everything is going wrong and algorithmic medicine isn't gonna cut it, and you need somebody who's truly an expert in the room. And that's where I make my money. I don't make my money off of, like, saying, hey, good job placing that LMA, okay, I'll see you for the next one. Like, you know, brush my hands off and move on. Like, that's not where I make my money. The hospital thinks that's where I make my money, but it's not. I make my money saving people's lives. And, like, being calm and in charge when it really matters. Med school's so hard to get into. Yeah, I mean, it is for sure. Kind of like unreasonably hard, and I think to its detriment. I think to medicine's detriment. All of the I don't have a better solution off the top of my head, but I feel like all of the hoops you have to jump through to be a doctor are keeping some interested and very quality applicants out of the field, and I think that really sucks. I trust the shards. Took the GRE and got 99th percentile with a month of studying, yeah. Is that what you have to take to get into CRNA schools, GRE? I did not know that. That's what you have to take for AA school too, oddly. I think a lot of them used to require the MCAT, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know why they don't require the MCAT for CRNAs. Yeah, the other, like, the volunteerism and the research and all of that, it's just, I don't know. It's just a bunch of wankery, in my opinion. But unfortunately, everybody else does it. You know, they all play the game, so you have to too. Even though it's, like, functionally useless to you. They'd be way too hard for most CRNA prospects. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, that tells you a lot about the applicant pool, right? I always think it's interesting to hear my wife's take. My wife's a nurse, by the way. And I think it's really interesting to hear her take on, like, nursing school and how it just, like, does not prepare you at all for being a nurse. I mean, it's very interesting to hear that, especially with, you know, how, I don't know if militant's the right word, but sort of loud and proud lots of nurses are. 4 mana, yeah, that sucks. Oh, I keep forgetting about my movement skill. Holy shit. Could be speeding this up a lot. Thinking about other stuff. Be much easier to show inferiority that way. That's actually probably the reason they don't do it, quite frankly. Yeah, I think you're spot on. You're right. I hadn't considered that. Way too easy to make a direct comparison. Yeah, anything that allows apples to apples comparison is not going to be in the CRNA's favor, and they can't. That's not going to work out. Yeah. Oh, so there. No part of this is me asserting that like physicians are intellectually superior to nurses at all. It's mostly a dedication thing, as you say. It's a work ethic and effort input issue. There are plenty of people in medicine who are just average folks, but they work really hard. Like, I would say that most people fit that description. One of your friends doing med research, actually doing med school. She couldn't take the MCAT because she'd have to take time off her job. I mean, would she though? I had a full-time job and studied for the MCAT. So this is gonna be sort of like an elitist parent take, but people who don't have kids have no idea how much free time they have. It is astonishing how much you can get done in a short amount of time if you really have to. So, like, I'm sure she's busy, and I'm sure she works hard, but she doesn't have to come home and, like, manage a kid. Or maybe she does. I don't know. If she does, then I'm just an asshole, and, you know, I'll shut up. But, ow! Jesus. But yeah, she can definitely come home and study for an hour every day. That's not a problem. I promise. Like, one of, I had a very similar conversation with one of the pediatric attendings at my children's rotation. And I said something about not having enough time. He goes, "You got kids, Alex?" I was like, "No." And he goes, "You got all the time in the world." That's exactly what he said. And at the time, I was like, "Man, you're a dick." And now I'm like, "Oh, he was completely right." He was totally right. Not the sharpest diamond drawer would need dedicated time. Yeah, well, I mean, we all do. But the end of ruin. Get in there. My used to read a lot. Always been a philosophy and literature nerd. Cool. I dig that. So have I. I took a bunch of, like, kind of mid-level political science and, like, ancient political thought courses. Wait, why am I... What is the problem here? I can't attack it. There we go. That was weird. Maybe my mouse fucked up. But yeah, I took a bunch of, like, kind of medium-hard classes that I just thought were really interesting. Like, early Christian thought and, like, Dark Ages philosophy, political philosophy, basically. And people are like, "Why the hell are you taking these classes? These are going to require work." It's like, yeah, but they're cool. When else am I gonna take an ancient Christian, like, you know, early Christian thought class? Nowhere. I'm not gonna do that as an adult. I don't have time for that shit. MCAT was a huge limitation for everybody applying to med school. Yeah, that's something that I've never really understood, to be honest. Like, I know it's a huge test and there's tons of info on it, but like, it's really not that crazy. I mean, as a physics major and somebody who has pretty good reading comprehension, I didn't even study those portions. Like, everybody makes that out to be, like, the worst part. Like, reading comprehension stuff. And I understand that their questions are not always the greatest, so there's a lot, you know, a lot that's, you know, could be improved. But still, like, reach out to the shard.
After eons alone, three again become one.
Hard to teach people how to do. Yeah, it's the test taking thing, right? It's mostly a psychological deal.
There is hope. The epoch is reforged.
Yeah, so the way that you're seeing it is how. Yeah, that's why you're good test takers, because you see the trick. Like, virtually all of those questions have a trick. Or, like, something that's easily recognizable that you can work with. And one of the things about the, like, medical licensure exams that makes them so hard is most of them do not have that. Or, well, let me rephrase. Most of the harder questions that are, like, the things that they kind of use to, like, if you get right, they really pump your score up. Those don't have that, or they're like 2 or 3 step logic where you have to, they say, like, I don't know, here's a set of symptoms and you have to know a side effect of a medication that you use to treat the disease that matches those symptoms, right? So there's like a lot of knowledge that you have to be able to integrate to get the question right. And so there's not just like a buzzword sort of thing. Like, you may get the buzzword, but then you have to, like, know a step or two past that. Princeton Review costs $1,000 for the questions? Jesus, really? Yeah, UWorld is a great purchase. I don't know that you... Oh, for MCAT. I forgot that UWorld has MCAT stuff now. It used to just be step 1 back in my day. Alright, do I want to keep listening to that? What are we going to do here? Ooh, Juno Reactor? Why did that pop up? Okay. Interesting. This used to be one of my favorite songs. Let's see. But a certain remix of it. Coxbox. Maybe a little much there. We can rock some Juno Reactor radio, though. Diagnostic MCAT was free. Yeah, I mean, don't most places offer a free or very cheap diagnostic to, like, get you into the program? That would make sense. There we go. Okay, I got that block settled, and we'll max that out. Or not, because I can't math. Oh, volatile reversal. Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's get into that shit. So where am I going with this? Don't need that because I don't even have the skill. Okay, so this is where I want to go for Abyssal Echoes, but I don't want that yet. Void Bolt Time Rot Chance. That's going to be a 2 for me, dog. To ballpark your score. I think that medium knowledge diagnostic tests are extremely helpful. A lot of people don't agree with that, but I think if you've been keeping up with your studies and you do one kind of like before your dedicated study, it really tells you where your deficiencies are and like lets you shore up your weaknesses more effectively than like diving into a study program and then figuring it out halfway through. I don't think that that's a good idea. I mean, I think you should take another diagnostic test like in the middle of when you're studying just to gauge your progress, but you know, knowing where you stand, having a baseline is a really good idea in my humble opinion. Even if you know the content on the MCAT. Let's see. You feel like the MCAT is more specific than the steps in Complex? The free diagnostic tests are a scam. I believe that's probably true. I believe that's the case. But if you take a quality diagnostic exam, that's what I mean. Like if you actually take a like practice NBME or something for your before your step studying, or actually take a like practice Kaplan test. Yeah, I mean if you're I think all of the practice tests are indeed harder. You know, with maybe there's some marketing involved there, but also to you know motivate you to study things more. So if you're going to get harder questions right reliably, then you're all set.
I cannot do that.
The fuck? Oh, where am I going? That's where I'm going. Oh, that was cool. Oh. Oh, that's why you want to reverse the... Oh, okay. Got it. Uh-oh. My group's texting us. Ah. I had a meeting tomorrow morning, and it is now canceled. I have to say, I'm okay with that. Which statement is the author most likely to agree with? Yeah, those are terrible questions. I agree with you. That's pretty cool. Alright, so I'm in the end of time. I don't think that I can go to monoliths yet, because I am only level 27, and that's level 58. So, I'll just fuck myself, I guess. Have to say something snarky about our meeting. Someone recorded scores on the third-party preps compared to the final exam. They had a 7-point increase. Jesus Christ. That is a lot. I mean, how many like that's easily a standard deviation, right?
Do not dwell on regrets. May a terror smile upon you. Farewell.
Hmm. I don't even know where I go now. Where do I go? The Keeper's Camp. Use the time rift to travel to the Imperial era. Okay. Man, I haven't played this game in a long time, and I totally forget where that shit is. Hmm. 508 on the blueprint diagnostic one from your car score. Great. Travel. Was the time rift here and I just totally missed it? Oh, it is. I'm an idiot. Okay. It was like right next to me and I ran away from it. Let's go, Imperial era. Oh, you're dyslexic? That definitely does not help. Cocaine is not that bad. That's hilarious. No, that's not what I want. Okay, we gotta limit that bitch. Maybe I will put lunge back on here until... I get another point and can do that. You didn't speak until kindergarten? What? Why did you not speak till kindergarten? Surely there's a story behind that. Hey, Renus, what's up, dude? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. So you only grew up with English despite your parents being immigrants, huh? That's kind of too bad, I guess. And once you got to kindergarten, you just started speaking English, like everything's fine. Like everybody just moves on. They're like, oh, he speaks English, okay. Bilingual households are high risk for speech delay, especially if parents speak both languages concurrently. Yes, I've heard that before, I think. That sounds familiar. Had to learn Punjabi in Sunday schools. Okay. So I had one of my girlfriends in med school was her, let's see, her mom was Colombian and her dad was Italian, I believe. And like, I mean, from those places. And she spoke English, Spanish, and Italian. And like, whenever she would talk to her sisters, they would just speak all three languages like in the same sentence. And it was like the most confusing shit ever to listen to. And like at the time, I was better at French than I am now. Like I was pretty much fluent in French in high school, and that just has slowly faded with time. But like, you know, I could sort of understand some of the Spanish and Italian, and then there'd be an English word in there, and my brain was just like, does not compute. Like, what the hell is happening right now? Developmental milestones are on your exam tomorrow. That's amazing. Well, you're in the right chat, apparently. The right chat at the right time. Arabic is a weird language. Word for car, the thing with four. It's hilarious. I love those weird like translation errors that happen that just like make no sense if you do it literally. Like, wasn't it a like kind of popular thing to translate books into certain languages without any localization, and you just like literally translate them and then translate them back just to see what happens? I feel like that was like something that people did just for like shits and giggles for a while. You dickface, quit summoning zombies. Stop it. You read Harry Potter in 2nd grade after not speaking until you were 6. That's a pretty good step up there, man. I don't know if my kid could do that. I mean, I guess he probably could, but he's not reading, like, independently very much. Just that by choice, I think, more than anything. But I'm kind of, that's on my radar. Like, I read The Lord of the Rings when I was, like, 9 and 10, so... I don't know if he needs to be doing that exactly, but... You know, I would like for him to, get involved in some reading for pleasure sooner rather than later, if possible. Your exam covers depressive disorders. Your slide on bupropion says contraindicated in seizure disorder. Well, I mean, I can tell you that. Take your bupropion, get some tramadol on board. Do it, man. All the good stuff. You're speaking in your own language and you understood when people talk to me. Yeah, I read The Hobbit first. Read The Hobbit, and I think I finished Lord of the Rings like at the end of 4th grade or something. I was like 10. Okay, I'm tired of these fucking zombies. I'm tired of these motherfucking zombies in this motherfucking forest. Let's move this along, shall we? What is this song? Johnny Jewel? Let's, move on from Johnny Jewel as well. Every word is a variation of another word? Really? In Arabic? Ah, totally missed you saying that. Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about any language other than English anymore. See new messages. Manga and comics have higher reading difficulty because they have better character development and world building than traditional literature. Ah. Interesting. Guess I never would have considered that. I'm a teacher, I know things. Of course you are. Of course you are. Jesus, these freaking zombies, man. I'm over it. Just like fucking meat grinding everything. Periodically becomes rampant. I love that ability. Like, all of these dudes are hasted, so they're just summoning shit out of control. Eat a dick, zombies. Okay. Let's get out of here. I feel like one of these days I'll need to learn Spanish. Like, it just seems like something that a cultured American should do. Wait, do I actually need to kill him? Flame Guard Scylla? Yeah, probably not. Let's just leave. Arabic isn't difficult if you know the language theory. There's not a ton of words because you can kind of fudge it. Oh, interesting. A lot of classics are hard to read due to the depths of the themes. Well, I mean, but that's one of the things that make them worth reading, right? So you can actually, like, read a book and talk about it and learn something about the times and about, like, the story itself. Like, that's what's cool about them, in my opinion. They're sort of, in a sense, they're kind of like history books. It also teaches you to sort of examine what you're reading a little bit more thoroughly, because there's more to it than just, like, the words on the page. That's kind of cool. I had no idea that there was, like, a metric for the complexity of books. Learn something every day. I didn't know that was something, like, quantifiable. I guess, I mean, somebody found a way to quantify pretty much everything. Inquisitor Captain Nerva. Nerva gonna get face tanked up in here.
Yes?
I'm so sorry. Where's the Risen Lake? I will take Ulrich's ring. Goodbye. Let's go. Oh. I forgot you have to go to a different place. Let's actually use the waypoint. Yeah, that's the question, Bart, that I would ask. Like, generally most of the things that I read were sort of in the context of, you know, their historical significance. Like, Brave New World is like this existentialist movement, you know, where people are sort of valuing living in the moment and all that kind of, like, philosophy during, like, a period of, like, unrest in the world, right? So it's sort of like, you gotta seize your moment. Yes, also a very, very much before its time, in terms of, ideology. Stormsteel Nemesis. Give me cool items, please. Thank you. Wow, that's quite good. 11 int. I don't know what that would really do. It's a lot of extra armor, though. Okay. I'll allow it. It's kind of cool that they, yeah, that they've, something like, so length isn't a factor. Huh. That's surprising, because it seems like a well-written long book would, you know, score very highly on that. You hated Shakespeare in high school. You know, I enjoyed a couple of them, but not a huge fan, gotta be honest. Wait a second. Oh, it just, well, there's a void rift here now? Dude, that didn't used to be the case. Oh, that's a huge quality of life change. Like, you used to have to, like, teleport to the previous age and then run all over the place. And so now it teleports you just straight back here. Oh, that's super cool. That's a good idea. It feels a little cheaty and like less like an actual quest, but it is definitely a lot nicer. Makes you believe those Shakespeare conspiracy theories where he wasn't a real person, but lots of elites writing under a pen name. Oh, interesting. I seem to recall hearing something about that, but it's been a long time since I've talked about Shakespeare. A 1,000 pages per book, but it's horribly written. That sounds terrible. Who reads that? Oh man, my environmental allergies are killing me. My eyes are fucking itchy. Girls like this. Okay, well, there you go. Is it like, you know, softcore porn? That seems to be very popular these days. I don't know why romance novels have kind of made a comeback, but apparently they have. Gen Z Twilight, but not even acceptable. Let's see. Throne of... Can't type. Oh, pops right up. Great. Should you read this book? Throne of Glass is horrendous. How is it sold over 25 million copies? Jesus Christ. 25 million copies. Overview. Let's see. Collection of 5 stories set prior to the Throne of Glass. 183,000 words. Dear God. 670 pages. Like, if you're writing this, how do you manage to crank out that much volume if it's so bad? I mean, I guess you can just, like, stream of consciousness it, right? It doesn't, like, fucking matter what you write. Just, like, whatever you want to put down, it's it's fine. You don't have to, like, make it interesting or tie anything together. I'm gonna be a princess hero who eats candy all day and talks to cute boys. It's awesome. So it's just this like juvenile dream. Here, let's look at the. I like this title or the cover art. Oh, that's not very helpful. The Assassin's Blade. I don't think any of the, so lots of the anesthetists that I work with bring, like, romance novels into the OR. Which, I don't know, man. Seems kind of awkward to me, but do what you like. Anyway, I like how you highlight this, and it's a guy like, ah. Here, let's see what he has to say.
All right, book brats, I've already done a full summary of this book, so I think it's time to do a spoiler-free review of the book, Throne of Glass. I'm going to try to answer the question today, should you read
Sorry
this
for
book?
the volume.
So let's begin. So this book is in the young adult fantasy genre. Some people say it's romantasy, but that's not true. I mean, there's one character who has an adorable crush on another character, so at the very least, it's crush fantasy. So being young adult
This
fantasy,
guy has
we will be
crazy
judging this
blue
book
eyes.
today based on the following criteria. Number 1, writing. Number 2, world building. Number 3, characters. Number 4, plot. And number 5, vibe. And you may be thinking, what the heck is
Vibe.
vibe? Why is that part of your criteria? I don't know. I needed a 5th one and I couldn't think of anything else. So let's start with number 1, writing. I'll just cut to the chase and say this. The writing in this book is no bueno. That's Spanish for no good. I don't know if you knew that or not. I mean, sometimes the writing is good, and sometimes the writing is bad, and sometimes the writing is weird. It's like it can't make up its mind. It's like a ransom note cut out of a bunch of books. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say she was only 16 when she wrote it.
What, really? She was 16 years old? Well, that explains a lot. So it, like, really is a kid's fantasy of what a grown-up does. Okay, fair enough.
Let's put this on the fridge then. I will say this, though. It's impressive for a 16-year-old. I'll give you that. What, are you waiting for a joke? There's no joke. I mean, have you met a 16-year-old? The bar's not very high. There's the joke. But you may also be thinking she's a better writer than you'll ever be. Probably. And that's why I make videos about books rather than make books. Long story short on writing, if you're a child, I think you will enjoy this book. Because that's the target market. Children. So gather your kids and read it to them for a bedtime story. But as for me, I will give writing a 2. And that's being generous. Moving right along to category number...
That was worth watching. I enjoyed that. A fanfic writer for Snow White at 16? Interesting. That's wild. Okay. Nigerian nurse in Dallas. She was 30 years into her career, didn't have a single fuck to give. She's listening to one of her audiobooks, and it was one of those spicy scenes. That's amazing. That's so good. That's so good. And she probably was just, like, shameless about it. She's like, yeah, whatever, man. This is happening. I'm listening to this shit. That's awesome. Yeah, my experience with Nigerian nurses is very similar. Extremely skilled, give no fucks whatsoever. Like, they'll straight up yell at patients, they'll yell at you. They'll tell you how it is, no matter what. Which is great. I feel like we lack a lot of that in medicine. See, I actually did not care for Harry Potter. Unpopular opinion. I didn't like Harry Potter very much. I felt like, I just felt it was too, like, young adulty. I think I read it, like, I guess I was, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't like it, because there are other things that are very similar. Like, I really like the Redwall series, for instance. If you guys have ever read that, it's just like a bunch of animals fighting wars and shit, but, you know, also very, you know, written for teens. So I don't have a good reason that's, you know, that description doesn't disqualify it, but something about Harry Potter I just didn't dig. The villain is just Hitler. Hilarious. I see. I've never really gotten into, like, the history enough to know that. However, I have seen all the movies, so you think I would have made that connection, but maybe they kind of dumbed it down for the movie world. Yeah, dude, I was all about some Redwall. I read all those books. Jesus would just be some guy in Wizard World. That's so true. That's awesome. That's an awesome thought. He's like, all you can do is make fish and wine? What? That's not... Who gives a shit, man? You made a blind guy see? Okay. I made a griffin. He's my pet. I fly on him. There's lots of dynamics, and I swear I'm not just a fanboy. You can be a fanboy, man. I won't publicly judge you. I might publicly judge you, but I'll try not to. Oh, this is new. Oh, God. Is this like a boss fight? Okay. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. That's a good change. No wonder they made this a little more straightforward. I like it. Okay. It's like a mini-boss. That is much more interesting. What a good change. Works in Harry Potter as a kid because it feels like the real world, but just different enough. Yeah. Well, I think it's, so from that standpoint, it's sort of interesting because, like, I feel like if anyone is gonna be good at suspended reality, it's kids, right? Like, I mean, my son's 8, and he, like, you know, still goes outside and, like, pretends shit constantly. So I don't think that they would really necessarily need the real world tie-in. But it is sort of an interesting hook. I like that. Okay. So now I can switch this to... Oh. Or I can in a little bit. Switch that to... Is this Tron? Oh yeah, it is. Cool. Took me a second. Conflicts between magicians and non-magicians are very complex and have dynamics you wouldn't expect to see in a young adult book. Maybe I'll give it a shot, man. Maybe I'll give Harry Potter another try. At some point. But first, Wheel of Time series, and that's gonna take, like, probably literal years for me to get through. I haven't read for pleasure for so long. Outside of, you know, just, like, education stuff. No, why did I not put on my... Where's that belt I found that has armor? And yeah, that's what's up. Okay. So I might as well have these on. Reading an independently published novel in a post-apocalyptic Earth, but the author is very particular. You have tropes that reference animals, but he pays attention. We should address the elephant in the room, and the main character will go, "What's an elephant?" That's awesome. That's really interesting. Oh, Bartimaeus series. Oh, okay. I've actually never heard of that, but that might be something my son would be interested in. Let me look at it. Bartimaeus sequence. The animals are extinct, so they're 14 when the story starts, and they've never seen real animals. Got it. Oh, so these are relatively new. Okay. That's cool. Maybe I'll pick those up for him. That's a good rec, man. Thank you. Ooh, that echo, though. That was cool. My skills echo after a second. Sometimes I have a 10% chance to do that. Like that, back there. It's like Harry Potter, but 10 times better. Okay, nice. I'm convinced. I was sort of reluctant to, acquiesce. Oh, come here. Come here, bitch. Ah, stop it. Keep fucking fat fingering keys. Yay! Ooh. Give me that. And that. Cockroach Princess, what's up, man? Do I think Caitlin Clark could play in the NBA? I think she could. And then I think she'd get the shit fouled out of her, and then she'd sit the bench. That's a very random question. The first couple characters, Shadow Slave? Okay. First chapters are a little weird because of the web novel. Okay. What is web novel culture? I guess I don't really know what that is. Hey, you stop that shit. I mean, I guess everything has kind of its meta game, right? So if you're into that world, you're probably used to seeing like the same stories and references and shit over and over. Same memes, meme culture. How did all of that drop and I had no idea? Oh, Snowblind's actually a pretty good helmet. I officially don't exist. Soul Warden of Blades. Is that a good thing? Ultimately, it is a good thing, but he can tell you his story as necessary. I won't squeal. Imperial Assassin of the Lizard. What's up with you, man? Yeah, aren't you? You're starting rotations this summer, right? Cockroach Princess, that is. Web novels are a little self-aware, so they'll make references to themselves. I saw this in a web novel. Oh. Yeah, that's a little, immersion breaking, right? I think that kind of sucks. I'm all about, like, atmospheric storytelling, like, whether it's games or books or whatever. And anytime it's like, you know, there's some sort of, like, weird anachronism or something like that, and you're just like, yeah, okay. You know, some, like, modern slang in a medieval medieval book or something. It's like, that sort of sucks. Well, I perhaps may have a look at Shadow Slave. Experience on kill? Oh yeah, let's go. Oh, this guy over here. Fucking raising zombies. I wondered why I can't mow through this packs, because this asshole keeps sending more my way. Do I want to go in that yet? No. Let's go this way. The realm of rules don't apply anymore. It's kind of a good place to be sometimes. You can make that work in your favor. The lake is swarming with the undead. I don't know that I need that. Oh, fuck me. Thought I was in a safe place. That sucks. Guess I shouldn't have been looking at my skills. Everything you do is a massive risk. Yeah, it's true. That can be volatile reversal. Here's an interesting thought. Can I get downstairs with this? No.
Welcome, traveler.
I'm a seer. How did you expect me? I'm a seer. Defend the seer. Hell yeah. Where'd you guys come from? It'll help cover your bases if you have a job. Yeah, that's fair. Cannot blame you. Serenus the Accuser. Where'd you go, bud? Seer's just like over here with the ring, like chilling. Yeah, single target might be falling off a little bit.
Welcome, traveler.
Thanks for the help.
Tear a smile upon you.
Fatty Liver King, what's up, man? How are you? Gaswork is good. Work is actually better than ever, honestly. We had, we used to have two OB groups, and one of them was exceptional, and the other not so much. And the not so much one left in January. So that was cool. They accounted for about half of our overnight calls. So, Pretty good, man. How about you? How's life? Home life is good here too. Just kind of been thinking about doing medicine and doing locums work. Yeah, I mean, that's the time is right, man. If you don't want to mess with doing a fellowship, you can fucking crush it. I mean, you could basically work 2 full hospitalist jobs for a while, and I mean, you'd burn out pretty fast, but if you line up the right gigs where you can actually sleep and, you know, don't have to, like, literally be up all night every night, it could be a decent lifestyle. You know, and you make it probably close to $1 million doing that. Also, you're scared of AI replacing you. AI will not replace hospitalists. And it won't replace docs at clinics either. I think the mid-levels are really who have to worry in, you know, any sort of, like, short time frame. Like, because they're the ones doing all the algorithmic diagnoses and treatment, right? So a computer can do algorithms. It can't do, you know, complex association and, like, hunches very well. AI is more expensive than humans. It is for now. But I'd imagine a lot of, like, giant hospital chains probably have it. Like, they have, you know, some sort of deal with ChatGPT or, you know, some provider. What about AI and mid-levels? Well, the thing is that, like, AI probably will not replace doctors, at least for a while. It doesn't make complex diagnoses very well, as of right now. But it's, you know, it's honestly not bad for the vast majority of purposes. You know, most people don't come in to the doctor with, like, super complicated problems. You know, they have diabetes that's not controlled. They have hypertension that's not controlled. They have heart problems or whatever. So for that, it's fine. And for that, the nurse practitioner is fine. But like we were talking about earlier, I don't make my money on the bread and butter stuff. I make my money when it's, like, weird shit that needs immediate action. And you can say the same for other docs. So, like, a family practice doc earns his keep when a really sick patient comes to him and he efficiently triages that patient to the consultants that need to see him. So you line up care for that patient, you know, in all aspects, and treat his condition the best you can with the information that you have in the meantime. But then, you know, you do all the information gathering, you do all the, like, logistics and setup, and you go from there. And that is very hard for a non-doctor to do. AI will do radiology with radiologists overseeing the AI. I bet you that's probably true. I think it'll be a lot like what makes me think of is EKGs. So, like, the EKG machine will give you a little printout of what it thinks is going on, but basically everybody will tell you when you're learning how to read EKGs to never ever look at the printout. So figure out what you think it is first, and then, like, you look, and if there's something that you know, think you might have missed, or, like, it gives you suggestion that you're like, you know, then you can go back and look for that. So yeah, I definitely think it will help radiologists. It's not going to replace them, but it'll help their throughput a lot. What's a normal patient ratio for intensivists? I honestly don't know the answer to that. I think it's a lot, honestly. They're, like, in the teens, maybe low 20s even. It's like even at KU, we only had one intensivist on at a time. Yeah, I don't know that it would be very difficult to cover all of that by yourself. I think if you had a team of mid-levels or residents or something, that's fine. Like it's fine in the academic setting where they generally, have critical care stuff like that, but man, that's a lot of sick people to take care of. Imagine the automatic read for EKGs they'll diagnose. Oh, it's interesting that you said that. I actually did not read your oh, it looks like I've got somebody to ban. I didn't read your comment before I said that, oddly enough. Like taking troponins for people with belly pain if they're mildly elevated, having to retest. Yeah, something like that. Some of your intensivists prefer to do what procedures? You just get good at it, honestly. You don't have a choice. So like with residency, there's just so much production pressure. You're always so busy that if you're slow, you drown. Like, I found out real fast that being good at epidurals was my key to getting sleep. And so I made it a point to be really good at them. And so now I am, like, badass at epidurals. I'm really fucking good at them. Because, like, if you can go and knock one out, like, including documentation and, setup and everything, I can do an epidural in like 10 minutes, which is freaking fast. It's like really fast. So there are some people, none of my partners, all my partners are pretty fast too, but there are some people who take half an hour, and that's crazy. If you've got 5 epidurals to do, that's an extra 2 hours of work. Any tips for surviving intern year? Oh my god. Are male epidurals a thing? Absolutely. Yeah, you can do epidurals for anything, really. Like we did them for thoracic cases, for belly cases all the time. Some urologic cases like kidney. What am I trying to say? Nephrectomies. Yeah, nephrectomies. Their epidurals are awesome. Dude, they are super useful tools, pain control tools. I think they're underused. We definitely underuse them at my hospital, in my opinion. I mean, part of it is like a nurse education thing, because we just get called all the time. Like, the nurses all freak out, and they don't know what the hell's going on. And so they, like, because we, every now and then, we'll have somebody with, like, a flail chest, they'll have multiple rib fractures, and we'll put an epidural in for their pain control. And every single time we do that, it's a nightmare. So, we just don't. Even it's better patient care, I think, but we just don't do it because the nurses aren't prepped to handle it. Never seen an epidural besides, how do you do an epidural? Why don't we talk about it? I think we've actually walked through this on stream before. So here, this is a pretty good picture. You guys see that okay? Does that show up? Yeah, looks decent. Okay. So that's the exact opposite of what I wanted. Okay. Cool. Let's go back to that zoom there. Alright, so what you do is you feel the iliac crest. So, like, you feel the patient's hips, assuming you can. A lot of women are gigantically fat these days. So you can't really actually feel their hips. And that's generally L4-ish. And so I personally go up a space, so you feel their spinous process. And you anesthetize their skin right above that. then you take this epidural needle, which is generally either 17 or 18 gauge needle, pop through their skin, and you just like it's a feel thing. So this right here is called the ligamentum flavum. Like it's like a ligament that links your vertebrae basically on the posterior side, or well, I guess that's actually the anterior side. But the deep side to where you're going. So you kind of put your needle through, and this in healthy people feels like a crunch. It feels like you're sticking the needle in sand, which is kind of weird. More cushion for the pushing. Hilarious. I love it. But yeah, so when you feel that crunch, you've got this like syringe. Maybe we should just watch a video. You got a syringe on the end of that needle, and some people like will advance and try to push the syringe, push the syringe. But I just hold pressure continuously and advance slowly. And so when you pop through epidural.com, what is wrong with me? Here we go. That's very soothing music.
Planning for an epidural, yes. I want to enjoy the last few hours.
Enjoy the last few hours. I don't know about that. Okay, so he's prepping her. That's like a sterile drape that comes in the kit. I'll catch up on the comments in just a minute.
Epidural just, for a lot of women, it helps relax them.
It does.
It allows their uterus to do all the work without the.
So there's the local.
Fighting against the pain. So especially at the end, when mom's exhausted, I think the epidural just helps them. Giving them steroids.
Ambulatory for hemorrhoids? An epidural for hemorrhoids? Really? Crazy. Take troponins on a patient that presented with abdominal pain after prolonged cocaine use? I probably would not do that unless they had cardiac symptoms. But you can definitely, like, you can have coronary vasospasm from, and even, like, myocardial ischemia from cocaine, for sure. But yes, it would be a clusterfuck if they were a little positive, for sure. So, oh, we missed the money shot there. Hang on. Okay, so let's see if we can actually see the loss of resistance. So there's the needle going in. So she just kind of like, yeah. So she's putting the syringe on there. And they didn't show it like flushing in, but basically when you get into well, I closed it, but when you get into that epidural space, the fluid just flushes in because it's not an actual space, but it's like two tissue planes that are very easily separable. So you force fluid into it, and then you put this tubing through your needle. That's like your introducer needle. The tubing should slide in very easily. Generally, it's about, in a normal, healthy person, it's about 5 centimeters deep. And so each one of these marks is a centimeter. That's 12 right there. Or actually, I guess on this one it's 13. That's weird. So 13, 14, 15. The 3 together is 5. So 16, 17, 18. What? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we go. Yeah, sorry. So she's flushing some... aspirating and flushing some fluid through it now. And it's taped in. That's how you do it. It's really easy. Let's see. Took history and patient revealed a ton. Past surgical removal of diverticula. They had like a colectomy or something. Constant hypogastric pain. Gram a day of cocaine use? Nice. Top of the list is adhesion. Yeah, get pimped on differentials. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So wait, are you an intern now? Or are you 4th year? Because if you're a 4th year, you're getting pimped at this point. That's brutal. What assholes. Match was a month ago. When an epidural fails, what's the cause? So malplacement would definitely be the leading thing. So it's probably just like not in the right space. Was that CSF pouring out? Probably not. Generally, it's probably just fluid. So everybody kind of does it differently. Some people only use air for that reason. So if there's like fluid coming out of your epidural needle, then you know it's CSF. But I like saline because I like forcing the epidural space open a little bit more. So, yeah, if you hit the CSF, that's bad. Like, if you go here, I'm gonna try to find that image that I had previously because that was actually useful. Here we go. So here, this is the epidural space right here. So when you pop through the ligamentum flavum, you like inject whatever your syringe has on it. So either air, water, both. Or I mean, not water, saline. Air, saline, both. Whatever. But if you go, so this is epidural, so it's outside the dura. So if you pop through the dura, which is protecting the spinal cord here, then you get CSF back. And that can be a huge problem if you don't recognize it, because basically you're administering medicines spinally instead of epidurally, and you need a much lower dose. So what you do in that case is either nothing, so you just remove your needle and try again, or you can thread the catheter into the spinal space and know that you have a spinal catheter, which is really dangerous because nurses don't know how to handle that. And, you know, there's always a chance that they'll call like one of your partners for a bolus, you know, at some point, and your partner doesn't know that that's a spinal catheter, and they give them an epidural dose instead of a spinal dose and give them a high spinal. And what a high spinal is basically paralyzing your spinal cord. So it like the numbing medicine goes all the way up into your brain, or at least high enough to make you stop breathing. And then you need to be intubated for a couple hours while that spinal dose wears off. So that isn't ideal. You don't want to do that. Oh, you're second year? Really? Why did I think you were older than that? Huh. Or further along than that, rather. You're in hospital day one? That's really awesome, man. Yeah, so you can thread the catheter in. Oh, you mean just in general? Yes, you do. So generally losses at like 5 or 6, like epidural space is about 5 or 6 centimeters deep, like I said. But usually you put it in like 5 extra centimeters just to give it some extra, you know, leeway. That helps. But yeah, if you puncture the dura, they have a pretty good chance of getting a spinal headache, which is like literally what that is your meninges pulling on your brain. It's like all the fluid that's like separating them, it's like buoying the like connective tissue around your CNS, and it starts that tissue starts pulling on your nerves, and it causes a headache. So what you can do for that is increase CSF production. There's actually a med called cosentropin that apparently does that, and it seems to work pretty well. You just like aggressively hydrate them. You can vasoconstrict their brain so that it doesn't, you know, the lack of cushioning is less profound, and you do that with IV caffeine, not oral, IV caffeine, which is kind of wild. Those things are effective. But usually what you have to do is something called an epidural blood patch, which is where you draw blood from them and inject it into their epidural space, and that like provides the extra fluid there to like push the CSF back up. So you had a patient coming in with severe abdominal pain, said he only smoked weed. Your fob was with a fob intern and your sheltered child. You didn't think it was related? Smoking a blunt per day. Ah, that's a fair bit. Why do you put air or saline into the space? So I personally do it to so So I mentioned I do the saline because I like to force the space open, and I do both together because they feel different. So sometimes when you, like especially in really obese people, you can get some like false loss. So you can kind of get into like a fat pocket basically that, you know, maybe the saline injects really easily into, or the air injects really easily into, but the other doesn't. And so if that happens, then you know that you're not quite in the right place. Usually it's the air that injects more easily. So if you get air that kind of flows in, but then your saline doesn't, then you're like, maybe not. But if both go easy, then you're very likely in the epidural space. So yeah, saline to dilate it, air to just increase the feel sensitivity, I guess. You don't know units of weed. Fair enough. Cannabinoid hyperemesis. But he has to smoke to get rid of his nausea though. Patient with a history of stimulant abuse would have troponins drawn. Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, not if they don't have any relevant cardiac symptoms. I've smoked. May I have one weed, sir? Do you have a weed? Ooh, those are spicy boots. Oh, but the ones I have 72 health. Oh, oh my. How much does that hurt? Oh, there we go. Okay, well I guess I should probably keep the ones I have. Tried edibles and didn't like them. That seems to be a pretty common thought, honestly. Like, the only time I ever tried edibles, I, like, massively overdosed on them, so I don't think that's really a fair comparison. Wait a second. Where am I? I say stupid shit sober. I also have that problem. Like, hardcore have that problem. The filters are minimal. Oh, how many skill points have I gotten? I thought there used to be a counter. Sea of Storms, the Broken Isles. Huh. I swear there used to be like a view that showed you how many idle slots and skill points you had left. Hey, you dickheads, I thought I heard somebody attacking me. Stop that. So yeah, epidural's really slick. I like them. Very satisfying to do, too, especially for somebody who's already in pain. Because then, like, 20 minutes later, they're like, ah, yeah. Much better. Do I do ultrasound IVs? I personally generally don't. What the fuck? There we go. But yeah, we have a like an IV team that does that. I never I didn't train doing ultrasound for IVs, so it's a little foreign to me. To be honest with you, like I'm pretty good with an ultrasound, but just for IVs in particular, I don't usually do that. Maybe I should start though, honestly. Like, generally, if I'm getting venous access that I need an ultrasound for, I'm putting a central line in. Or putting arterial line in. I'll use ultrasound for arterial lines every now and then, but I kind of hate doing that, because it, like, gets fucking ultrasound gel all over the, like, the site, and it's tough to tape everything down. Just sort of annoying, really. Only used to do regular IVs, but your ICU... Oh, so you use ultrasound to the detriment of your skills. Interesting. I'm surprised that you feel like that has a negative impact. Why do you feel that has a negative impact? Because, I mean, the actual, like, placement of the IV itself is still the same, right? On your IM rotation, the program director is doing a lesson for the residents. Asking what history you wanted for a patient with chronic cough. Travel history. You can get TP for the CTA. Hilarious. Something is gonna kill you on the CTA before TP does. Ah, well, you know, you're not wrong. Feel for veins and tactile sense. Okay. I mean, that's fair. How about that? Yeah, if it's all you ever use, then yeah. I dig. I understand that. Yeah, you gotta do both. Like, I kind of had a run for a while where I was, just because I hadn't done it in a while, so I was placing IJs, like IJ central lines, without ultrasound. So I would say before I started, like in residency, when I was training, it was like half and half. So I'd use ultrasound for half of them. Or most of them I would try without ultrasound first, and like, since then, though, I've just kind of, like, gone straight to ultrasound. And I think I sort of, like, lost my edge a little bit on that, or I feel like I was going to. Felt like I was going to. Ah, you little bitch. Come here. So, yeah, I've started doing that, too. You got away with that? He's a shit point. Why is that guy back? Could just use I mean, if you can use ultrasound and be faster, then good for you. But usually that's not the case, because you can just, like, grab an IV and do it, right? You don't have to get the ultrasound. But if the ultrasound is, like, that available, then awesome. Always. Alright, Serenus. I didn't really want to kill you twice, but I guess I'm going to. Yeah, it's never a bad idea to say travel history, right? Close contacts. You know, that sort of stuff. Always gonna be the right thing to check out for the infectious disease. Cirrhosis vasculopathy? Really? Interesting. when you have to search a little, potentially piss off the patient or family. Yeah. Yeah, if you're, you know, gonna have a problem, then sure. I get that. Absolutely get that. Ooh, doggies, it's a river champion. Soul Tank Tauros. Alright, Soul Tank. Have some reversal. Frenzies when allies die. Maybe I shouldn't have killed all his allies first. Whoops. Just gotta read a little bit first. Oh, the child class where we developed the shunt? Like PSC, you mean? Sclerosing cholangitis or biliary cirrhosis? No more about residency politics than actual medicine. That's hilarious. It's probably true. And that's okay. Does not fit in inventory. Well, some bitch. Here, well, let's sort this first off. Should probably be wearing that shield. Yeah, let's wear that shield. Boop. Flaming Club of Stiffness. Oh, Stillness. I was like, oh shit, that's a very phallic name. Helped RT with an ABG. And use ultrasound. And your charge nurse almost got you in trouble? What? Why not? Why can you not do that? Dude totally thought it was Flaming Club of Stiffness. I was like, holy crap. Dude, the things that, like, nurses choose to get worked up about just will never cease to amaze me. Anyone who isn't a nurse is allowed to exist. I mean, pretty much, right? Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, if you know how to do something, then do it. You know, I don't get it. And like all the certifications and, you know, little certificates and shit that. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, why do you have to be certified to do like that? To like do an art line? Like, just do it. If you've been taught how to do it, just go do it. I mean, that's what I do. That's like what residency is. It's like somebody just makes you uncomfortable constantly. They're like, oh, have you ever put in a blind central line in a 500-pound guy? No? Oh, well, that's what you're gonna do. Guess you better go figure out where the central lines are and how to place one. Oh. Ultrasound makes it super easy to see artery versus vein. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's super useful. Well, dudes, I probably ought to go to sleep because I do have to be at work at 6:30 tomorrow. So that's fun. Thank you for hanging out. This game is amazing. I'm super glad that they finally updated it. If you're interested in action RPG, this is Last Epoch, so check it out. You guys have a great night. See y'all later. I'll probably... Oh, no, I won't be on Sunday because I'll be out of town. Maybe next week, though. Next week, I'll catch up with y'all. So thank you again for chilling. Peace out. Have a great rest of your week.